Christmas just came early for this good boy. Alright, before I open this, I want to let you know a little backstory about what I've got in the box here. So 8/31/06, I had a school project to keep a journal. I was working on my anvil, which is about 450 pounds. It's cut out of a big piece of metal with a big cutting torch, oxyacetylene torch. And then I spent a month grinding and filling with the welder areas the torch cut away too much and just shaping the horns and stuff how I wanted them. I spent a month with every single free minute I had doing that. And I burnt up a 9-inch Harbor Freight grinder, and I actually ordered one for like a new grinder, and it was a nice Dewalt 5.3 horse grinder. It's a big hog dog. I spent like all my savings at the time on this thing. It was like $160 or something. But yeah, I even wrote about it here in my journal back in 2006. I said that I was just super excited because the new grinder should be in today. And then I wrote some other stuff, and then 1 hour later, I was like, yes, the grinder finally got here. It's very big, and it has 2 guards. I don't know why I wrote that. But yes, very nice, très bien. I was trying to take it French at the time. So, I had that grinder, and it served me so well. And I think I've mentioned to you guys before, I get very sentimentally attached to some things that I really like using, like my hand sanding 2x4. Well, my Dewalt grinder was one of those things that I was very attached to. And I broke it. This handle's not supposed to move like this, just so you know. Yeah, I was so sad I broke this the other day. I'm working on some new Damascus. It totally wasn't the grinder's fault. This thing could have lasted another 12 years. I was doing something with it I shouldn't have been doing. So what happened was the threads got gummed up, and I had a big sanding disc on there that I wanted to change. The threads were gummed up really bad though. And so I was holding this thing, the handle, between my legs and prying that disc with all my strength, and I had a big pair of vice grips on there. I was prying and prying and prying, and I was holding the grinder between my legs, and I broke the handle off. It totally wasn't meant to do that, and it broke. So, today's box is all about that, because I gotta have a good grinder, and there's no way to fix that handle. So let's open it up. I'm not even sure this is the grinder, but I'm pretty sure. Looks very standard so far, very box-like interior. Standard tape on the outside. Got some paper and new grinder. Oh yeah. Maybe that's why I wrote about it having 2 guards, because it shows it right here too. Open this bad boy up. Oops. I think I just voided the warranty. Instruction manual. We don't need that. It's not like I've ever done anything this thing wasn't meant to do. New handle. That'll be nice for holding on. I'll show you the temporary grinder I've been using, guys. It's got some weird long handle on it, and it vibrates so hard that my hands were going numb after like 5 minutes. And then like, they're super achy the next day. Wow, I forgot this used to actually be yellow. Not some kind of off-colored yellow, dark. That is like bright, bright yellow. This handle put on here. Here are the 2 guards I wrote about back in 2006 with the first grinder. It's like a 7-inch one and 12-inch one, or 9-inch. This is not a 12-inch grinder. Yep, and yep. Guards. We don't want to use that. Too much limitation of what you can do. Oh no! No, 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 no. Oh, guys, it's not exactly like my old one. Oh, this is gonna make me sad. They added a safety switch on here. I do not want the safety switch. Cause, oh man. I want to be able to just turn this on when I want it to turn on, and I want to turn it off when I want it to turn off. They've got some little paddle thing on here now. It looks, everything about this grinder looks the same, except this one didn't have that little thing on there. I might have to do a little work on this. This should be able to definitely hog away some big time metal now. 5.3 horse, 6,000 RPM. It's a hog dog. It's heavy too. They have some lighter options. I think this one's like 14 pounds. They have like an 11 or 12 pounder, but it's a little lighter on the horsepower. And I actually like the weight because this has a nice weight to it. I can use less of my own strength to add pressure. Just let gravity do more work. And since I'm mostly just standing there, not really doing too much in different places, let me get more stuff. Here's the temporary grinder I've been using. And part of the reason why sometimes I don't like safety switches on things, this one has a safety switch and it actually makes the thing like lock on. I had this thing stay on a couple times when I wanted it to be off, so that can actually be dangerous sometimes. So you people out there doing safety stuff, if you add something to make it safe, make it safer. Don't make it actually more dangerous than not having the safety switch, as in the case of this grinder. This one, I'm sure it won't lock on, but you never know. This one here definitely messes up. But yeah, the only handle we had for this thing was really long, so it was hard to put pressure on it. It's not as heavy. This thing is vibrating really bad, so good backup grinder, but I'm glad I don't have to use that anymore. Got this thing on Amazon Prime though, so I didn't have to wait long. It only took like 2 days to get in here. Put a grinding wheel on it. Oh yeah, very nice. It's got a super duper heavy duty cord on it. Nice thick rubber. And this thing guys takes a lot of power. Yeah, so if you guys are running this thing on a 15 amp breaker, this thing is 15 amps, but under a load it uses a little more, I think. So if you have this on a 15 amp breaker, there's a good chance that it's gonna blow it. I've even had this blow 20 amp breaker a time or two when there was just some other small thing on the breaker with it. So it uses a lot of power for the 5 horses.
Are you done?
It's got a safety switch on it.
We can take it off. You'll get used to it.
I don't want it. The other one didn't have it.
It'd be nice to sit down on the workbench, it won't go off.
It won't go off. Look, this thing here keeps it from being able to go off. I'm not sure about the safety switch. It might be okay, I don't know. I'll have to test that out and see if it inhibits things. But there is one feature about the other one had too that I didn't really care for. You can rotate the handle here, and that's completely pointless and useless, and I feel like it's just another thing that could break on the grinder. It didn't end up being what caused this one to break at all. Like the weak spot wasn't from that, so it never caused an issue, but I feel like I would just be a little more comfortable if that was just a solid construction instead of this handle being able to rotate, because there's absolutely no reason that needs to do that. So that's one little critique I have about it, but it never caused an issue on the other one. So leave a comment down below if you think you'd like the handle to rotate, if you think there would be any good purposes for it. I haven't really found any yet, but I don't know. I'm always using the grinder flat up and down too, so maybe if you were doing more upside down work or something with this giant heavy grinder, then it would help. I don't know. Let me know down below. Coffee break. Colombian. Alright, so I just got done doing some heavy grinding with this new grinder. And I know I mentioned that I didn't like this safety switch on here, but it's probably actually a good idea. Some safety stuff, if it's gonna get you hurt, is bad. Like that cheap grinder had the safety switch that actually keeps the grinder like on if it gets like jammed. That's bad. Anyway, this one though, I was kind of worried I wouldn't be able to flick it with my thick gloves on, but it's not a problem at all. In fact, it's probably a really good idea. That way the grinder won't go off like setting it down on the workbench or anything. That never happened with my other one, like once. Never. Never or once. Never once happened. So just wanted to let you guys know that this safety switch, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it on there. It's probably a really good idea. But there's other things though, like the guard. I don't like having a guard on there. If I had an employee running this, then yeah, he'd probably have a guard on so he doesn't hurt himself. But I've been running one of these nice and flat, you know, for a long time, and I really can hold it good. If you're in some weird positioning or something, you might want a guard on there because it might be more likely to catch on something. A lot of times I'll be like surfacing things flat too, and then the guard would just completely be in the way. But I just wanted to give you an update on that switch mostly. It feels really good, and I'm gonna leave it on there, and it's probably gonna be a little bit safer than it was, so cheers!